So recently in France, it was Bastille Day, and today we're going to be checking out a video of what it actually is, because we don't know much about it at all, and then a recent military parade that they did for the day.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it is because it's surprisingly close to actually the 4th of July, which I would assume similar to this Bastille Day. But I heard way more about the 4th of July, the America's 250th, because America's got to go a bit crazy with everything, than Bastille Day. So we're here to educate ourselves.
Let's check it out. Here we go.
Yes, America won independence by being the scrappy underdogs in a hard-fought war, but in the end our Independence Day really just celebrates a particularly righteous breakup letter. But France's National Day celebrates that time they literally tore down a castle. It all started
Wow.
that time everyone got really mad about a finance minister being fired. Well, actually it started with revolutionary discontent among increasingly powerful industrial bourgeoisie that developed in response to a mismanaged economy in the wake of a massively expensive participation in the 7 Years' War and the American Revolution, all exacerbated by centuries of consolidation of power around an autocratic monarchy. But this is just a web video and not a PhD
Wow,
course. So
okay.
let's skip to... The Estates General, an assembly representing the nobility, the clergy, and the common folk, had been convened for the first time in 175 years by King Louis XVI to address the economic crisis. Incensed upon discovering the convention would vote in a way that gave the nobility and the clergy an advantage, the commoners walked away and created their own separate assembly. In response, King Louis physically locked the National Assembly out of the meeting hall. So they convened on his tennis court and swore an oath to continue meeting until a constitution is established, effectively declaring the authority of the state with the people, not the king. So what about this castle? Back in Paris, citizens were intoxicated with liberty and enthusiasm, as Francois Mignot writes, which wasn't helped by a speedy buildup of royal troops in both Versailles and Paris. Which brings us to Jacques Necker, the finance minister perceived as sympathetic to the common people, whose reports to the king back in 1781 is what
This is going extremely fast, so if you're like, why aren't they saying anything? We're just trying to get it in our
I'm
head.
trying to get the gist of what's actually being said first.
alerted the public to France's financial state. Never mind that it was mostly made up. So Louis sacks Necker on July 11th, what Parisians took as a sign of a conservative coup against the National Assembly. Dissidents call for the crowds to arm themselves against the largely mercenary royal army, with radical journalist Camille Desmoulins rallying the crowd with the cry, "One resource is left, to take arms." On the morning of July 14th, alienated from their commanders and with local ties in Paris, many of the French guards defect to the rioters, forming a bourgeois militia. The resulting militia
Really? I didn't know about that.
That's interesting.
Wow.
raided the Hôtel des Invalides to gather arms, but lacked ammunition, and soon turned to the Bastille, the 400-year-old fortress and prison that had long been a symbol of royal power. Soon roughly 900 people had gathered outside of it, compared to 114 soldiers defending it. Fearing a massacre, Commander Delaunay attempted to negotiate, but soon the rioters were streaming into the courtyards and fighting broke out between the forces. Finally, after the rioters were reinforced with even more defecting French guards, Delaunay capitulated and the gates were open. The storming of the Bastille quickly became a symbol of the legitimacy of the revolution. Though the newly revolutionary government quickly ordered the demolition of the tower, its symbolic beginning of the revolution became immortalized. Every year since 1880, the French government has conducted what is now the oldest and largest military parade in Europe.
Dang. So interesting. That was like, I guess, does that symbolize the beginning of the French Revolution when they, the soldiers defecting is crazy, but those 900 people stormed that fortress and tore it down?
Yeah, and it's interesting too that like basically the governmental system at that time was so detached from the common people that started because someone who was sympathetic with the common people was sent out of their system.
I mean, that's a lot of people in the U.S. nowadays talk about bringing back some French Revolution style stuff in our country because the aristocrats, you could say, in the United States are taking so much of the wealth and are so out of touch with the common people of the United States. So, I mean, we might see something like this. Technically, it's not a monarchy technically, but there is an oligarchy in our capitalist system that we have over in the U.S.
Trump wishes it was a monarchy.
Yeah, he's trying his best. He's trying his best. So it is interesting. I don't know like enough about French modern day politics. Like, is that something that's happening in France too, or like the capitalists like taking so much power and working with the government to where people are angry enough where it's like the US where something like that's going to have to happen eventually?
We do know that in general, The French are quick to protest about
Yeah.
things, and they get a lot of stuff done when it comes to their government, the people changing their government.
In the U.S., people protest, but the government doesn't care. I mean, they'll go start a war somewhere, and people will hate it. They don't care. As long as the billionaires are making cash, that's all that matters. That's not going to end well, and hopefully people wake up at some point.
Yeah.
So let's check out the modern day. This just happened like very, very recently, the military parade. Apparently, this isn't just France now, since they want to like symbolize and do some symbolism for this new European army they're making. Now that you can't trust the US with Trump, and Trump kind of questioning NATO and threatening European sovereignty with Greenland, they're kind of doing some Europe consolidation, Europe strong military stuff here. Let's check it out.
Today is Bastille Day, which is France's biggest national holiday. Thousands of troops marched around the Arc de Triomphe behind me and down the Champs-Élysées. It wasn't just French troops this year either. It was also
We got Canada in there too.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Wow, if the US isn't in here at all,
That would be surprising.
that should really say something
Yeah.
of what Trump is doing to foreign relations.
Ukrainian troops and troops from all around Europe.
I'm here on the Champs-Élysées in Paris,
It
where
only said
Bastille-
Europe, but also includes Canada. But some European leaders were saying that Canada could join the EU.
They joined Eurovision.
Yeah, so
Day, and the parade just ended with over 8,000 soldiers and 30 different delegations marching from the Arc de Triomphe over there all the way to Concorde place right here. And as you can still see maybe behind me, there's still President Macron who's saluting some of its welcomed guests, notably European leaders from the Coalition of the Willing, like Keir Starmer, but also Friedrich Merz, who came in support
JD
of Ukraine
did
for
she say
Keir
JD
Starmer,
Vance?
but also Friedrich Merz, who
No, something else. I can't hear it well.
European leaders from the Coalition of the Willing, like Keir Starmer, but also Friedrich Merz, who came in
There's
support
some
of Ukraine
other
for
word.
this year's very special edition.
got
So-
Poland. Oh no, that's France. I only got halfway there. But we do. I mean, Norway. Oh wow, no U.S. for sure.
No, it doesn't seem like any U.S. They mentioned Keir Starmer specifically because they're not part of this coalition, but I don't know.
Another thing that was special today is that it was really hot. France is in the middle of a heat wave, so you had spectators who were fanning themselves and sharing bottles of water. One last reason why today is a special day in France. The French national soccer team made it to the semifinal of the World Cup, which they're playing later today in Texas. And not on any day, Bastille Day.
Huh? That's so interesting.
Can you Google quick if the U.S. is normally part of the Bastille Day thing?
From the way they're making it seem, the other countries usually aren't part of it.
Yeah.
It's usually
I don't know. I feel like I've seen U.S. be part of military parades in Europe, but I don't know if
it's
it's
probably
Bastille Day
World
or
War
not.
II
Mhm,
stuff. Actually, participated in Paris, U.S. took parts in the military parade. 35 members. Okay, so they were there.
Interesting. They didn't mention it in that thing at
Yeah,
all.
they were there.
New York City.
Wait, so they only did it in New York? They didn't actually show up to the.
Yeah. More than 20 cities in the U.S. conducted annual celebrations of Bastille Day.
Ooh, interesting.
Weird. So they decided not to go there, but still certain cities celebrated
And
it.
that would make sense because obviously Trump is I don't like Europe. Europe's using the United States, but a lot of other cities and most people in the United States would be like, France is our ally. Let's support them.
Yeah. It's a weird system our government's currently working on right now, just tearing down everything that's been built up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's actually really cool to see this type of stuff. Trump tried to do this, did not work very well. This is a much grander military parade we have here.
Yeah, same with his 250th celebration. What was it? The state fair he did.
Yeah.
That's quite a much better performance than his state fair.
Yeah. really interesting. Let us know if there's some other France stuff we should check out down in the comments below. And we'll see you in the next video.
Goodbye.
Bye.